You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
And I'm Tim Fulton.
And this is Dear Bros. Dear Bros is where me and Tim read advice article columns and try to give our own advice. So, Tim, what you got for us today?
We're going to be starting off with Trampoline is too tempting for neighbor who likes to jump. Dear
Okay.
Abby.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a good one, and it's this so fucking stupid. Excuse my language.
Okay.
Dear Abby, I like to jump on our neighbor's trampoline when they're out of town. I've been doing it for decades. Normally, it's no big deal, but last weekend they returned home earlier than usual and caught me in the act.
Oh, no.
Now my wife is ashamed to show her face around the neighborhood, and she's blaming me for the whole thing. Abby, I have a simple solution to this mess. If the neighbors don't want me jumping on their trampoline, they should cough up the money for a privacy fence. Don't you agree? Bouncing into trouble.
Oh, he lost it there.
Yeah.
He lost it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, he lost it. All right, so what's your advice?
Dude, stop trespassing. You just admitted that whenever your neighbors are away, you trespass onto their property without their permission, and you've been doing so for decades.
Yeah.
This is a bigger fucking problem than what you think it is.
Oh, God.
It's also silly as hell.
You know that this is one of those dudes who just justifies everything he does with us. Like, he doesn't even say, like, yeah, you know what, I'm wrong, but I did it anyway, and I shouldn't have. He's like, no. Like, if they didn't want me to break into their fucking property, they should put up a fence to keep me out.
Yeah.
What kind of shit is that?
Spend thousands of dollars to make it so this guy isn't coming. All right. He said he has a wife, and he says he's been doing this for decades. That at least puts him into his 40s. At least.
Yeah.
That means this 40-year-old man thinks, oh, if they don't want me trespassing, they have to spend thousands of dollars on a fence.
Yeah, that's like walking in a parking lot, just checking to see if car doors are open, finding one that's open and being like, well, if they didn't want me to take everything in their car, they would have locked it. How is it my fault, officer?
Yeah, that ain't holding up in a court of law.
No, you know what? If he said at the end some shit like, like I apologized and, I came clean and I just asked them if whatever, then I would have been like, okay, you know what? Okay, I got it. Like, the guy was just doing something really silly. He probably got a little rush out of it. He got caught up in the whole, I'd been doing it for this long. Fuck it. But he definitely just showed that he's pretty much kind of like a low-grade piece of shit by that last comment.
You know what? I bet it is a little bit of a rush. He's probably like some like normally straight up, like straight edge dude. And in the back of his head, he's probably like, hee, I'm breaking the law.
Yeah.
To jump on a trampoline.
Gonna joke. Well, the thing is, like, I could totally see why at first, like when he said his wife was nervous or couldn't show her face around, I'm like, well, that's a little extreme. You get caught jumping on a trampoline. But then his attitude at the end, I'm like, oh, he's that guy. He does this with everything.
Yeah,
he's just that guy.
He's that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your advice?
Stop.
Stop.
That's it. Just stop.
But what's your advice to, like, what should he do? Like, besides that, should he apologize to his wife? Should he apologize to the neighbors? Should he, like, what do you like? Is there any action, or just pretend that nothing ever happened and just stop doing it?
I'm assuming he hasn't apologized because enough time has gone by that he has written into an advice column. So at this point, just tuck your tail between your legs, pretend it never happened, and just be a good sport going forward. I
would have just liked to have seen that family pulling up early and just being like, what the fuck is Zach doing on our trampoline? He's just like, hey, you guys weren't supposed to be home. What are you doing home early? It's like it's their fault. Just turning it again.
Dude, could you imagine? I would be scared. Like, what?
I'd be pissed.
Like, what else is he pulling while we're not there?
See, that's one of those weird things where if you don't know your neighbor, then you probably, you're not going to fucking ask him to jump on his trampoline. But if you're friendly-ish with your neighbor, you're like, hey, do you mind if I, like, try your trampoline out or whatever. Like some people might be like, yeah, dude, go on whatever you want. Just don't break it. Like don't whatever.
Yeah,
But instead he's just like, I'm going to skip over all that because I'm awkward. I'm just going to trespass. It sounds more fun.
You want to hear Abby's advice?
Fuck yeah, I do. What's up, Ab?
What's up, Ab? If you are so jumpy and can't keep your feet on the ground, it may be time to buy your own trampoline, which would save your wife a world of embarrassment. Your comment about the neighbors building a fence may have been offered in jest, but it is sensible. If someone's child were to play on the trampoline in their absence and be injured, your neighbor could wind up paying a lot more than the cost of a fence.
Fuck out of here, Abby, with that last piece.
You know what? She's
not wrong.
Not wrong.
But she turned that. See, this is why I don't like that. She's pandering to this guy. She's pandering to him because he wrote in. And what it is she turned it into something that he did wrong. And it's like, yeah, it's actually a good point. We're going to make this about how the neighbors fucked up. It's not the neighbor's fault that you're a kleptomaniac in a way. And you have to break in and fucking steal an experience because you don't want to spend $300 on a trampoline.
Yeah, dude, that's a super valid point. Trampolines aren't that much money.
Yeah.
Like, get your own.
Yeah. Yeah, she had me too. She had 100% buy your own trampoline. But then when she was like, yeah, they should put it up because they're going to get sued. Like,
I'm starting to have a whole bunch of questions now, actually. The guy said he's been doing this for decades. How long has that trampoline lasted?
Maybe they just keep getting like a new and improved one and everything.
They come home, the guy's like replacing the springs.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to set like some kind of trap up now for the guy. Like some kind of, I don't know. They're going to have to like take the springs off when they leave. So this guy doesn't go and bounce on their trampoline.
Could you imagine being like, oh, we're going to be late to the airport. We have to take the trampoline down still. Otherwise, Joe's going to keep bouncing.
Fucking Joe.
All right, I can't talk about this anymore.
Okay.
What's yours?
All right. So mine is wife not happy with Ed. Okay. It's actually not Ed. It's ED. Okay, so the title of this one is Man Refuses to Consult a Doctor About Deficiencies in the Bedroom. Now, I wasn't going to pick this until I read it. Dear Abby, my significant other, we'll call him Bob, and I have been together for 30 years, never married.
Oh.
That's in parentheses. The past 10 years of our relationship has not been so good in the bedroom. Bob has ED and refuses to see a professional about it. He is well aware of how unfair it is to me because my sex drive is still in full swing. Would it be wrong to tell him that since he doesn't want to seek help for his problem, I'm going to find a friend with benefits? I've reached the point where I want to leave him. If he would get help for his problem, our relationship would improve and I would be willing to stay. Deprived in Ohio.
Poor Bob.
So
what are your thoughts?
Okay, so first of all, let me just say that this shit probably wouldn't fly if it was the other way around. If a dude was like, "Dear Abby, my wife won't fuck me," fucking make her. Like it wouldn't be the same vibe going on.
Is it cool if I get a side chick?
yeah, exactly. So that is where I have the issue. Like if Bob has like a serious medical condition, like I'm just thinking of it like both ways, right? He's got a medical condition, and your answer to that is basically make it about how it's unfair to you. Like, how about just trying other ways to get him to go to the doctor? I don't know what she tried or what she didn't try. Maybe he's a stubborn son of a bitch. Maybe that's why he's got ED to begin with. But I like how she just says he is well aware of how unfair it is to me. Like that's like, oh, somebody has a serious fucking illness or whatever. It's like, you don't know what it's doing to me. It's like, are you the one with the fucking illness or is he? And then it says, would it be wrong? Like she's asking right now, would it be wrong of her to tell him that because he's not seeking help, that she's going to go bang someone else. She's asking if that'd be wrong to do, which is concerning.
Yeah.
It's a little concerning.
Which means she already knows the answer. She just wants...
Yeah. And then it says, I've reached the point where I want to leave him. If he would get help for his problem, our relationship would improve, and I'd be willing to stay. So it sounds like this relationship is about as deep as a puddle. And she's probably the one, at least partially responsible for that, because it sounds like she doesn't mention anything else about like any other issues that they're having. It's basically just like she wants to get banged. So yeah, I mean, maybe Bob don't want to bang her no more. Maybe he's purposely not going to the doctor. I don't know. I would say that this is probably why y'all never got married, and just don't tell him you're going to find a friend with benefits unless you're going to leave him. Just fucking leave. Let him go free. You go free too. They're deprived in Ohio. What's your thoughts on this?
Sounds like the sequel to Free Willy, except it's Free Bobby.
Free Eddie.
Free Eddie.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sure. I hate that these things are only a couple of paragraphs, because I'm sure that there is like a ton of backstory to this, because we don't know.
Yeah, maybe, true. We should probably really stick to the facts. I made a lot of things up there
because there's a lot of assumptions. Maybe it's not ED. Maybe she got fat, like to the point. Like we don't know. Maybe Ed is just a friggin' asshole. Like we don't know.
Doesn't it? It just we don't know what the circumstance. It does seem though that I would say that it seems like this lady has a hint of selfishness about her.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was gonna hit on, because I hate when people do this in relationships. There are certain things in relationships that are make or break, but for the most part, especially if you've been, how long have they been together? 30 years?
30 years.
30 years. Relationships are about give and take. There are times where you have to make sacrifice, and there are times where your significant other has to make sacrifice. And based purely off of this 2-paragraph thing, it sounds like neither one of them are doing it. Lady, you can go without having a dude for a bit. There are alternatives to make yourself happy. I don't know if you know that they exist, but you can find them out on the internet.
She seems too lazy and selfish to do that, to be honest with you.
But to be fair, Bob has having the same sort of selfishness. I feel for the guy 1,000%, because no dude in the history of dudes has ever wanted to go to a doctor and say, "Hey, my penis doesn't work.
Yeah, no.
Help." Like that is excruciating.
Yeah.
But if it's for the sake of the relationship, maybe that's what has to be done.
Yeah, Bob's got to do it, but she's got to understand a little bit more, I think, because it doesn't say how long he's had it for, but now that I'm reading it again, it sounds like it's a recent thing. Yeah. Because of how she's describing it, I feel like how she wrote the rest of it, if it was taking place for a couple of years, she would have said that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But I don't know. So, but yeah, I think they both need to kind of shape up. But yeah, I don't like deprived in Ohio.
What's Abby say?
All right. So, dear deprived, Bob may be so embarrassed about his ED problem that he's afraid to have a frank talk with a doctor about it. It's a shame, because in many cases there's help for it. Because you have reached the end of your tether, discuss your feelings with him as openly as you have with me. If you do, it may jolt him into doing something for himself that he should have done a decade ago. Wait.
Oh, it's been going on for a decade.
Oh, wait, it does say... Oh, it does say, you know what? Apologies. It says past 10 years of our relationship has not been so good in the bedroom. Okay. It got lost in the 30-year relationship thing.
You know what? That is kind of a long time. I did say it back and forth, but that is a long time for it to be going one way.
Yeah. That's she should have fucking either left a long time ago or whatever. What's confusing to me is the whole friends with like, if you're at that point, just leave.
Yeah, but there's probably there has to be some sort of emotional connection then.
No, yeah, but it's like that's part of, I don't know. Start crushing up Viagra and putting it in his fucking eggs in the morning. I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah. So what do you think about Abby's advice?
I mean, she sounds as good as you can possibly hope. Like, be as frank with him as possible. If she's really at the point where it's going to be you go to the doctor or you're saying goodbye, then you got to tell him that and give him the chance to change his mind.
Yeah.
There's nothing else really to do. I don't think she's going anywhere with having a friends with benefit. I don't see that playing out very well whatsoever.
Well, she might just go with that and not mum, like she might just maybe forget to leave that in there in the talk. I don't know. But yeah, I think I probably agree with her advice on that one. Just lay the chips on the table and see where they fall.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's been Dear Bro.
That has been Dear Bro.
Any
Thank
final
you for-
thoughts there, Tim?
No, just that we are not doctors or therapists or anything of that nature, and that is clear by how we talk.
Yeah, we need to put a disclaimer on this one. I'm getting a little tired of seeing that same stupid face on your cardboard cutout. So this needs to stop, this quarantine stuff, man.
Dude, I can't wait to be back in the friggin' studio. You have no idea.
I know. But that's been it for this episode of Dear Bro. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day.